A few weeks back I demonstrated how to sort of fake 3D text in Photoshop the old-fashioned way. I mean before the introduction of Photoshop's new 3D features. But this week I'm going to show how we go about doing this in Illustrator. I will be demonstrating 3 different methods: Revolve, Bevel, and Rotate. So if you are all ready, let's get on with my new tutorial entitled How to Create 3D Objects in Illustrator. First of all, you will need to have Illustrator open. You can open a new document. I have one open already and the document size is 800 by 600. Select a color for your object from the color swatch. Whatever color the stroke is what color your object will be. You can set the fill to none like I have here. You can use the pen tool to create your line on the canvas. I've demonstrated in some of my other tutorials on the use of the pen tool. So this time, to save time, I've created the line in advance. You can draw the outer edge of any circular object that you want, like a glass or a vase or a bowl. This is the outer edge right here that I made of a vase. Make sure that the object is selected first on the canvas. If you don't select the object first, you'll find that anything you do in the panel will have no effect whatsoever, and it's a dead giveaway that you had forgotten to select your path beforehand. We are going to revolve this object. To revolve this object, we go to the top menu, Effect, come down to 3D, and just select Revolve. Here's your 3D Revolve option panel right here, and in order to see the preview, we click on here, and that revolves the object. As soon as you click that preview box, you'll see your object has been revolved. Okay, we're going to make a few changes here. Make sure that your More Options is selected here. We can change the lighting here and the blend steps. The blend steps, the higher the blend steps are, the better the object will look, but you have to be very careful with your blend steps because if you make it too high, it does use memory. So we're going to move it up a little bit. We'll move it to about 114 there. And then we're going to bring down the lighting intensity to about 50. And that makes it look a little bit more realistic. If you want to change the orientation of the object, you just move this box around right here. Just like this. Okay, you can close out of that. And that's how you revolve an object in Illustrator. Next up, we're going to do the Extrude and Bevel. I've written out the word bevel on the canvas, and the text that I used was Helvetica LT STD. Bold, 304 points. The color swatch that I used here is pound A 21233. But you can use any sans serif thicker type text that you want. Go to the Move tool and make sure that bevel is selected on the canvas so that anything that you do in the effects panel will affect the type on the page. Go to Effect, go to 3D, and this time we're going to select Extrude and Bevel. We're going to set the extrude depth to 150, and then we can preview it here. And that's what your text looks like when it's been beveled. It's pretty nice looking. If you open the box, the More Options box, you can see you have the options down here for lights and the blend steps. These don't make too much of a difference here, but I'll show you. And then the light intensity, that will make it look a little bit too dark. I like it at 100%. But you can play around with this and see what you like. If there's anything in here that you like better, you can move it to those settings. Okay, we can close out of that. And as you can see, this is your bevel. That's what your bevel looks like. The last one we are going to do is the rotate. You would find this effect useful if you wanted to control the plane location in which the two-dimensional object is located. This is the simplest of all the 3D effects. You won't even see most of the additional options unless you choose diffuse shading in the 3D rotate options box. You start out, make sure that you create your text. I used a sans black, 230 points, regular, and the color swatch that I used here was pound 0071BC. Make sure that you have the text selected on the canvas, as always. Go to Effect, go to 3D, and this time we'll choose Rotate. The settings I'm going to use is 47, negative, 67, and 5. And click on Preview to see it. And this is what your rotate looks like. You can use that box as always to rotate your object around. Okay, these are your options right here, which isn't much. If you select no shading, which is the default. You'll get more options if you choose diffuse shading in the drop-down box, but you still don't get as many as you did in the previous examples. You just get the light intensity and the ambient light, and that's it. You can move your light around if you want to. You can try bringing down the light. Not too much of an effect there. Ambient light, let's try bringing it up. There's not too much of an effect, anything that you do here. So it's basically just being able to rotate your text in the box. So it's definitely the simplest of all your effects. If you have closed out of your options dialog box and you need to go back into it for any reason, you will need to follow these next few steps to do so. Make sure that the text is selected on the canvas. Make sure that you're not in the Type tool, and then come to the top menu, Window, and come down to Appearance. And then come over here, and as long as the type is selected on the page, you'll see 3D rotate in there, or the effect that you need. Then you can just click here, and your options box is back open. So then you can make any changes that you need to. So there's your rotate effect, your bevel effect, and your 3D revolve effect. So those are your 3 effects that you get from the 3D panel from Illustrator. Well, that's just about all there is to learning how to create 3D with Illustrator. This is Stars and Dust signing off until next time.